how, translate that into, how many jobs. But you don't do those things, you push solar, and so what do you get? You get the backlash with Solyndra. Oh, Solyndra is bankruptcy, blah, blah, blah. So, their strategy is horrible, and no wonder they end up getting, the result that they got. It just, they don't have anybody that really can reason outside the box.
Isn't Scotland
Pardon?
Isn't Scotland the leading producer of renewable energy for electrical? They got turbines in the water.
Yeah.
Because those waves go 24/7, 365.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Like Exargo. Look at the colonial times. Everybody, you're on a creek, you're on a river, you got to have that gristmill. All that is a big tap.
Right.
I wish we had turbines in the lake. Life boy up there.
Well, they could have a lot of that stuff, but you've got certain lobbies, and they listen to the lobbyists, and they don't listen to people like you. So.
Well, I've worked a little bit on the dirty diesel engines and the transportation authorities that'll get that federal money, but it might be like a sinking pool of funding, because there was like several programs for diesel emissions reductions. Grants was one of them. Congestion mitigation, air quality was one of them, and when I was just tweeting Trump, like, no matter what this climate stuff, it's like, we live in areas that don't meet the air quality standards. You have to support efficiency, and I just try to make those programs robust, because those are like regional transportation authorities. They can go to NOACA and AMATS in Akron, and they should get some info to cars about like idling, stop idling your stuff. And I think that's just like low hanging fruit to me, like if we could get some flyers to people. Like the Earth Day Coalition has one that says if you keep your engine on too long, it's idling. But yeah, if we can't get these modest things, these like mainstream, because Voinovich, he championed that dirty diesel cleanup stuff. Right. So we got to make it like a Republican legacy thing here at David Joyce's office.
Reached out to our immigrant community too, and helped prevent people from getting deported.
Oh, sure.
He was, he was the problem, but he was out in the community at least a lot more than what we're seeing currently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't as active then as I am now, but.
Right. So, but one of the things I had was keeping the invasives out of Lake Erie.
Oh, fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So I gave a two-hour presentation for the Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Drummond's group in Chicago. Like 30 engineers, and I'm not an engineer, okay? But the idea was that other countries have this. In Belgium, they have 2 systems. Canada, they have a couple really old systems that's kept the Lamprey eel out of the upper waterway, Trent Severn waterway system from coming out of Lake Erie. Not Lake Erie, but the Georgian Bay area. Then Eurasia, Siberia, they have a system, and they just put one in China that was designed for barges, but they're actually putting passenger ships on it. And that's the Three Gorges Dam. What it is, these are elevator systems. Some can carry barges, some carry pleasure craft. The ones in Canada carry pleasure craft up to 100 ton. The ones in Eurasia is like 1,800 European ton barges out of the water. You lift them out of the water. Anything on this flatbed, rail car rolls off back. Along with the water rolls off along with any invasives on it back into the lower area. Okay. So it's very simple. I mean, it's instantly visually verifiable. That's my little slogan.
Okay, instantly visually verifiable, like that.
Right.
Okay.
Because the Army Corps of Engineers, don't worry about it. They're monitoring the entire lake, right? Yeah, give me a break. We'll see if they get there, and then if they get there, well, how did they get in? Well, we don't know. That's their plan. So it's not a good one. So then their objection was, well, it's too expensive. And I said, okay, my plan is $1.9 billion for this elevator system. which would be on the Chicago Sanitary and Shipping Canal. And I've been to the lock where they could put it in. Okay, it's Lockport, Illinois. And okay, the lock area that raises about 40 feet. The carp only jumped max maybe 20 feet, so they're not going to jump over, the structure. And they could just elevate the barges, So, and the one in China actually does a push chain of barges. That's what they have. The one in Belgium, they have two in Belgium. They're smaller barges, and each barge has a crew. Whereas our system, it's employee light. One tugboat pushes 9 barges. So, and they keep saying, oh, they don't cost jobs if you do this. It's not going to cost any jobs. If anything, they would use robotic tugs eventually, get rid of all the employees. That's our mentality here. So,
But it would start with some jobs. You need to be to run this
right.
elevators contrapted.
Right.
Okay.
So that's basically it. It's a very simple idea, and politicians told me, like Sherrod Brown's people, you had Gibbs, his people, and so, we'll get you to Chicago, get you to Washington, and we'll, you can testify at our hearing, blah blah blah. Well, they never had the hearing. So
It sounds like, since Betty Sutton was at Port Authority for some time, I mean, maybe she could run on this.
Sure.
And bring it to bring it to some more of a pertinenceness.
Jeff Loiter out of Ohio State used to do all the studies on Lake Erie. Water purity. Struggle over the hills. I used to go to church with him. He might be retired now. He's a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
65 this year.
Right.
But he was any study on Lake Erie. He'd always be quoted in the Plain Dealer Acquisition Journal of Columbus.
And isn't it Taft's wife or Governor Taft? Like, one of them was like really into some mainstream environmental stuff. Either like Governor Taft or because it was the Ohio Environmental Council would have them at their fundraisers
Well,
and stuff.
the Environmental Council, Christy Myers, and the ones that was quoted in the Plain Dealer all the time.
Yeah, and there's another